Have you ever opened up your banking app, stared at the balance, and just felt completely overwhelmed? Look, you're definitely not alone. It happens to the best of us. But what if I told you that in just 3 months, 90 days, you could totally transform that financial chaos into absolute control? Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're unpacking a brilliant step-by-step roadmap straight from financial expert Humphrey Yang. This is the exact 90-day financial reset blueprint you need to overhaul your entire relationship with money.
Okay, let's dive into this. We're looking at a 12-and-a-half-week masterclass, broken down into 5 powerful phases. 1. Audit and cut the fat. 2. Automate savings and crush debt. 3. Build safety and start investing. 4. Boost income and master credit. And finally, Phase 5. Track growth and plan ahead.
All right, starting right off with Phase 1, Audit and cut the fat. This covers weeks 1 and 2.
To really fix your finances, you need a major mindset shift. You literally have to start treating your personal finances exactly like a successful business treats its money. Think about it. A local McDonald's intimately knows its daily revenue and expenses, right? You need that exact same clarity for your own wallet. So here's your week 1 action plan. And listen, people aren't actually bad at math, they just lack a solid system. First, pull your last 3 months of bank and credit card statements. Next, categorize absolutely every single expense. And finally, calculate your average monthly spend. If your income is your revenue, doing this exercise reveals your true net profit, the actual cash you have left over at the end of the month.
Now, what's really interesting about mapping all of this out is that it completely exposes the fat in your budget. You basically have 2 buckets: fixed expenses, the necessities like rent and utilities, and discretionary expenses, which are your wants. When you actually line them up, you might discover something totally crazy, like, wait, am I really spending $225 a month on Ubers just because I felt a little too lazy to walk on the weekends? Identifying the root habits behind those discretionary expenses is exactly how we start trimming the fat.
Moving into week 2, the whole goal is to cut that fat by grabbing the lowest hanging fruit. Let's say you take, maybe 5 minutes to compare car insurance rates online and save $100. Then you cut out some of those Ubers and ditch a few subscriptions you forgot you even had. If you can identify and cut just $400 a month in unnecessary spending, it snowballs into a massive $4,800 in annual savings. I mean, that's a literal trip to Europe, a maxed out Roth IRA contribution, or a massive dent in your debt.
Moving on to Phase 2. Automate savings and crush debt. This is our focus for weeks 3 and 4, where we shift from playing defense to playing offense.
Week 3 is all about automation, and the absolute golden rule here: pay yourself first. Before you even have a chance to spend your paycheck, you need automatic transfers set up. Take roughly 10% of your pay and route it straight out of your checking account. A great strategy is splitting it. Maybe 5% into an investment account and 5% into a high-yield savings account, earning a competitive 3.8 to 4% interest rate. If it never hits your checking account, you simply aren't tempted to spend it. Out of sight, out of mind.
Then, in week 4, we attack debt. Did you know that by simply throwing an extra $75 a month at a $2,500 credit card balance, you can shave off 8 whole months of repayment time? 8 months! Also, you should really call your card issuers. The average credit card APR right now is over 21%. But honestly, just picking up the phone, mentioning your loyalty, and asking them to lower your rate takes like 5 minutes and can save you thousands in interest.
Next up, Phase 3, build safety and start investing. This covers weeks 5 and 6, and it's where the magic really happens.
This is where you unlock the true superpowers of personal finance. Week 5 is fully dedicated to building out an emergency fund. And your very first major milestone is hitting that $1,000 mark. Breaking this 4-digit barrier is a massive psychological win, especially when you consider that 59% of Americans cannot even afford a $1,000 emergency expense without going into debt. Getting this cash tucked away in a high-yield savings account just gives you incredible peace of mind.
Once your safety net is in place, week 6 is about actually growing your wealth. Now, historically speaking, concentrating your money into equities is the ultimate wealth builder. A lot of people think it's real estate, but while real estate surprisingly averages about a 3% real return over the long term, stocks historically lead the pack at 5.2%. Investing in an S&P 500 ETF, which basically tracks the top U.S. companies and historically averages 8 to 10% nominal returns, is just a brilliant, passive, set-it-and-forget-it strategy.
And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer power of compound interest. If you simply invest $1,000 a month
consistently for 30 years at an 8% average return, your final balance reaches an astonishing $1.49 million. Honestly, it's not about trying to perfectly time the market. It's about trusting the process and just letting your money multiply itself in the background.
All right, into phase 4, boost income and master credit. This takes us through weeks 7, 8, and 9.
In week 7, we expand our roadmap, removing from just cutting costs to aggressively scaling up your personal revenue. Because let's face it, there's a hard limit to how much you can cut, but there is absolutely zero limit to how much you can earn. You need to identify at least one solid way to level up your income. You could ask for a raise, which is honestly crucial right now since inflation is constantly eating away at your purchasing power. Or start a side hustle, or learn a high-income skill like coding or sales. Get this, strategic job hopping every 2 years can sometimes bump your salary by 30 to 40%.
By week 8, you need to firmly define your goals. And I want to share an incredibly powerful psychological statistic with you. Simply writing down your specific savings goals, making a clear plan, and sharing them with someone makes you 42% more likely to actually achieve them. 42%. So write it down on a sticky note, tell your best friend, post it online, just do something to make it real.
Week 9 tackles the whole double-edged sword of credit cards. So the crucial point is this: you absolutely must know yourself. If you know you lack financial discipline, stay far, far away. Because the nightmare scenario is getting stuck carrying a $723 average balance at 21% interest. But if you have self-control, the dream scenario is very real. Paying off your balance in full every single month earns you free travel perks and cash back. Plus, most importantly, it builds your payment history, which makes up a massive 35% of your total credit score. And finally, Phase 5, track growth and plan ahead. The final stretch, covering weeks 10 through 12.
So you've audited, you've automated, invested, and optimized? Now in week 10, you start tracking your net worth. The term sounds fancy and intimidating, but it's incredibly simple. You just take your total assets and subtract your total debts. For example, say you want a $100,000 house and have $25,000 sitting in the bank, but you owe $30,000 on a car loan. Boom, your net worth is $95,000. Tracking this monthly or quarterly is just a fantastic, super motivating way to watch your financial picture steadily grow.
After doing a quick review of your new spending habits in week 11, week 12 is all about looking to the future. It's time to map out some really inspiring long-term stretch goals. Maybe your 1-year goal is saving up $10,000. Your 5-year goal could be buying a property or hitting that magical 100K net worth milestone. And your 10-year goal, total financial independence. The trick is to break these massive goals down into actionable monthly steps and actively schedule strict quarterly check-ins on your calendar right now to make sure you never spring a financial leak. Look, wealth is never built overnight. It requires consistency, it requires discipline, and a real long-term vision. But I want to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought. If you commit to running your personal finances exactly like a successful business for just the next 90 days, what would your net profit look like a year from now? The blueprint is right here in your hands. The next move is entirely yours.